A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart's family carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart. And then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything.
My mom said that I wear a hat too much and my hair isn't getting enough vitamin D.
Oh.
So I don't expect you to have an answer to that. She was like, when Hasidic Jews take off their wigs and then the hair is not nice. And I was like, yeah, I guess you need vitamin D on your skin. Why not your hair? And I thought I was just always protecting my hair from sun damage, but I guess I could stand to have like 20 minutes of vitamin D because I'm always wearing a hat.
I guess that's the one excuse for people to wear just a visor.
Yes, but what about scalp burn? Anyways, I've been trying to get my hair to slurp up some vitamin D because something's going on. We had the baby 17 months ago. What's going on with his hair? What's going on, folks?
You can take some of her hair now.
My daughter has so much hair and is so much larger than babies her age. I ran into an old friend who I hadn't seen in a very long time, and she has a baby, and our babies are like 3 days apart. And her baby looked like an infant compared to my full-grown German Shepherd. And what came out of her mouth, she goes, "Oh my God, she's huge." And she goes, "I mean tall." But she is like a full-grown head of hair, and she has legs for days. So she got one of those big babies, but not fat, but just a big baby.
I was just reading something about someone whose big baby made them have to have like back surgery. So you better be careful.
Well, she wasn't. Oh, you mean like from holding them?
Yeah.
I'm very strong. So I'm okay. Every time I pick her up, I'm like 1 rep. Like I feel so strong doing it. Also, my dog's like not small. So just getting that upper body strength that women don't have naturally from picking up my big baby. My big 5-year-old, 17-month-old.
Aww.
But we're very excited to bring her to, well, I can't really talk about where we're taking her yet, but I can say Europe. And I'm very excited for her to have a little European jacket. Be very cute.
Does a baby have a passport or is it just a general like ID?
No, baby's got to have passport.
Like a full on, like it looks like a adult human's passport. It just has a baby's face.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And you got to get that, crossing international boundaries. Weirdly doesn't need like a license to get on a plane. I think if they're under 2, but no one's going to buy that she's under 2 because she's 9 feet tall. But yeah, she had to get a little passport and it was very hard. And I had to go to get the picture at like CVS and they sit them on the floor against like a piece of cardboard. And it took many tries and they take it with like a digital camera. That's where fucking pharmaceutical technology is. Or it's just some woman like, let me get the camera. And you have to like, look up here. And there's like they give you a chart of like faces that are unacceptable. Like the kid can't be looking down. They can't be looking away. So we got it. It was a good picture. And, there's no way to prove it's your baby. We don't have the same last name, but whatever. It's kind of weird. Like if I travel with her, they're not protecting against like trafficking. Like no one knows if it's my baby or not. I have no way to prove that.
Oh.
Other than a billion pictures on my phone. But yeah, we don't have the same last name.
Right.
I don't think they care about that. I think they're just trying to prove that the person who bought the ticket is the person that's on the flight. All that matters is 9/11. No one cares about anything else.
Right. Yeah. And
No
your
water.
suspicious giant baby.
Okay. Sorry. Noah came in and said that Sierra was upset, and she's no, you know that upset when you cry really hard and then you're like,
Yeah.
she's just doing that, but she's not crying anymore. Okay, you're just gonna. So right now, Sierra's just sitting on my lap, touching all my things. Excuse me. I don't know where we left off, but let's get to the.
We can get into
hitting-
questions.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about her, so it's perfect. Hi, Liza, Emily, and gang. Longtime listener, first-time caller. I'm 31, female, happily married, and just had my own tiny tree frog baby in March. My husband and I are huge fans and have tickets to see you in Philly. My question is about my dad. For context, my parents were divorced when I was little, and I am an only child. My mom passed away when I was 13, and I moved in with my dad after that. We had a great relationship, and even when I moved out for college, we still talked on the phone or texted every day, talking for over an hour sometimes. Oh, so excited.
Excited. Sorry, the baby's sitting in my lap because she's upset. Go on. Sorry.
He really was my best friend. Over the last few years, I've seen my dad less and less often. He lives about 2 hours away, and whenever we would make plans for holidays, birthdays, just so we can get together, without fail, he would cancel last minute, blaming it on not feeling well, car issues, you name the excuse. I've heard it. I've offered to go to him, but he refused and insists he'll come to me. Over the last 5 years, I've maybe seen him 6 to 7 times, and when he does come, he'll stay for 2 hours tops and then go home. Before I started spending holidays with my husband and in-laws, there were years I spent Christmas completely alone because of my dad canceling last minute. I luckily have amazing in-laws, but I still miss seeing my own dad. It breaks my heart like he doesn't want to see me, his only daughter, and now his only grandson, and it almost feels like I've lost both parents. He doesn't work anymore, and he's currently single. He's had on and off relationships over the years, so I worry about him if he's doing okay, but to be honest, I can't tell you much of anything about his life because he doesn't open up to me like he used to. I've gotten my hopes up so many times to plan weekends with him and get let down every time without fail. I'm worried it may be a sign of depression or health issues, but he won't tell me anything. When I try and call him, we maybe only stay on the phone for a few minutes and just a few random texts throughout the week, mainly pictures of the baby. We've never had a big argument or falling out. We just hardly ever talk or see each other anymore. It's already hard going through so many life changes the last few years without a mom or a sibling to share and vent to. Now it feels like I lost my only family member, and it's lonely. My husband and his family are incredible, but this just feels different. Is it worth the effort to keep reaching out and trying?
Yes.
I'm just tired of putting so much effort in, going out of my way to arrange everything just to keep getting my heart broken, but I don't know what else to do. Thanks, Anonymous.
Did this start after you got married?
It sounds like no, because she said she had several Christmases alone before the husband and the in-laws.
It sounds like your dad has depression and it's just like undiagnosed. He also might have a health issue, although it seems like he's been alive for quite some time. So, I mean, I don't know what cancer looks like, but if it isn't those things, it does sound like depression to me. Not as a doctor or anything. It's just like, what else could it be? I think you have to drive there. And I think you should write out, because you're not angry at him. You're hurt and you're sad because you love him. This is a unique question because usually it's something happened or there's a stepmom or something made you uncomfortable, but you don't know what's going on and you've lost so much time with him. So you don't feel the kind of closeness where you can just kind of call it out. Go there. Don't give him, he's not doing anything. So don't give him, unless he's like secretly living with another family. Don't give him a chance he's not going to like shut the door in your face. I would write out how you're feeling. And you can either read from the letter or get it out so that you have your thoughts composed. And go see for yourself. He might be secretly hoarding. He might be sick. He might be depressed. He may think you don't need him in your life anymore. You may have said something that you don't realize. You may have done something. You just don't know. Go there. Don't give him a chance to turn you down. And tell him exactly how you feel and say, you're my only family and I love you. And it would mean everything to me if I could include you in my life and count on you. Like say these words to him. Because you don't know if something happened, then you have no idea.
Right. Yeah. It's very weird. It is heartbreaking that he would say, yep, I'll be there for Christmas. And then last minute be like, whoops, my car isn't working. Bye.
You know what? He may not have wanted to be there around families without his wife. I mean, yes, I don't know how long that grieving happens, but like it probably doesn't feel great to be reminded of what Christmas used to look like with your family.
Mm.
Maybe he doesn't want pity. Maybe he doesn't want to be the single guy around this other family. Maybe he doesn't feel as good as them or wanted or insecure, whatever it is, you don't know. And he may not voice it to you, but what's important is that you say to him as your daughter, it's important that I have you there because that trumps everything else.
Yeah.
That might be what he needs. So just go. Get in the car and just go.
Right. Yeah. Because he can hang up after a few minutes. But yeah, if you're at his house, he's going to be like, okay, well, you got to leave now.
Surprise him and just be like, I love you so much and I miss you and I need you in my life and I want you there for these things.
Yeah.
You're all I have. And my baby and husband.
Right.
Slam dunk advice. Crowd goes wild.
All right. We have an update to a workplace question. This was one that I think we answered very well, where this person works in advertising and the client basically was always like pushing deadlines, asking for favors, going to them directly. And they just always like have an issue. There's always an error. Like it just was too much. Yeah. So, hi, AI crew. I wrote in a couple months back about a client at work that was overstepping and burning me out, and I have an update. In between writing to you and you answering the question on the pod, I brought everything to my manager, sent her email threads of all the strange requests, and showed her all of the past due notes I had on their contracts, and told her how frustrated I was with how consistently out of sync this client was. She scheduled a meeting with the sales rep and their manager. Turns out they'd been having loads of other issues with this particular client too, so it became an all-hands-on-deck situation to get things under control. Now, the rep sends this client extensively detailed reminders every 2 weeks instead of me being the only one checking in on them. And it's been super helpful. Today, I received materials from them a full month in advance. And it's been so great to not have to focus so much of my attention on one person when I've got so many other things on my plate. Anyways, thanks for your advice, for affirming some of the choices I made and frustrations I had of being in a weird position, and for the tough love mom advice when she was on. Thanks so much.
There you go. So even though this person merely confirmed what we said and did not wait for our advice and did not put her life on hold until we filtered through and found your question, it doesn't matter because in the end, you would have done what we said and it confirmed it. So I think that's proof right there, folks, that you should always wait for us to give you the go ahead. But just know that whatever you do, if it's the right thing, that's what we would have told you to do. So we win in any case.
We
win. Fall has fallen, winter is on its way, the days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling. And nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them.
Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Hi, ladies. Like many of your listeners, I am a nurse who's been listening to your podcast since the very beginning. Fun fact, I have needed to use my asthma rescue inhaler all 4 times that I've seen your live shows due to laughing so hard.
Well, that is the highest compliment. That and completely shitting yourself are both very high compliments.
The compliment, not just of it happening once, but that they went to your show, had to use their life-saving inhaler and bought tickets another 3 times, knowing every time they go to your show, they know there will be a life-altering event for
I
me
might
here.
die from this, and that's
die.
love.
Yeah.
That's dedication. What are the rest of you doing? Just laughing with lungs totally working? No, it's not enough.
Lungs.
You need to kiss death on the lower lip.
Oh. I tried to strategically write about my issue in a way that gives you both context, but spares everyone the pain of listening to mind-numbing, irrelevant details. So here we go.
Okay.
I am the 27-year-old daughter of a 55-year-old woman with MS. After suffering significant disease progression over many years, my mom is now a quadriplegic. A few months ago, she got COVID for the first time and was in the ICU in respiratory failure. My mom has a sister who is 2 years younger than her. My aunt and I have been very close my entire life. I'm also very close to my uncle, her husband. We go out drinking on double dates together, go to concerts together, talk about everything. My family and I tend to prefer my uncle over my aunt because he is more down-to-earth and compassionate, whereas my aunt is more materialistic, egotistical, and overall just the type of person who is the life of the party, but you can only tolerate spending short periods of time around her. My uncle is also known for visiting and reaching out much more often about my mom, whereas my aunt is preoccupied by her big career and checks in much less on her sister.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle are currently undergoing a nasty divorce. My aunt made a point to discuss with me that my uncle will always care about my mom, their relationship, and mine and his relationship will not change, and that he will always be a support person to us. While my mom was hospitalized, my aunt knew about my mom's condition, but never reached out to me or my parents asking about her or sending well wishes. During that time, I was stressed beyond belief, so I texted my uncle looking for solace. He had no idea about my mom's condition. I had assumed my aunt told him. He was appropriately devastated and helped us out a lot during that time. About a week after I first reached out to my uncle, I got a text from my aunt reaming me out for speaking to him. She said things like, "Who the fuck do you think you are? You speak to him only if I say you can speak to him. And if I want him to know something about my sister, that information comes from me and me only." For context, this is a man who she was married to for almost my entire life. This is not a new husband. The three of us are close. It was only about 6 months prior that she swore he would always be there for my parents and I.
Well, she's not wrong. He can still be there. All right, go on.
These texts were the only messages anyone received from her since my mom was hospitalized. I entertained her baffling behavior for a bit in a much more mature way than how she was acting, then ultimately stopped replying. The last message from her told her that I am not to speak to him without her permission.
Fuck her.
I had not heard from her since, which was about 3 to 4 months ago, until she recently texted me asking me to babysit her 3 kids while she goes on a weekend vacation. I didn't
Puke.
reply. A few days later, my uncle texted me asking the same thing. I replied to him, apologized for being unable to talk to him, but that I don't want to be in the middle of their drama anymore. And that is per my aunt, I'm not allowed to speak to him. My uncle was completely understanding and also not surprised. My question, do I try and make amends with my aunt? She was truly a best friend to me. I miss her, but I texted her on her birthday with no response. She didn't reach out about my mom. She didn't wish me a happy birthday, and now she only wants to speak to me and allow my uncle to speak to me when she needs something, and has not reached out since. Is it worth it? It's so hard to navigate when they're family and not just a random friend from college. Please help. All my love, Danielle.
It's tough because your uncle is more of an aunt to you than your aunt is.
Right.
It's also tough because she reamed you out for that. And then like Brennan was like, hey, can you babysit? Which tells me she's really going through something.
Yeah.
Unstable. And by the way, it's not like she's crazy, but like already was like kind of a pill, but like, okay. And now she's going through this really stressful divorce. I think the first step that needs to be taken is you have to say to her, like, I do miss you and I love you. It'll never be the way that it was. I guess the question, like, what do you want from the aunt? Because you keep mentioning how she doesn't reach out to your mom. So do you want more of a relationship with this fun aunt who like either doesn't have the capacity to really care about your mom or is compartmentalizing it because it's her sister and she can't, you kind of don't know.
Right.
But I think if you care, one thing that you're going to have to make clear to her is my uncle is still my uncle. He's been my uncle my whole life. And I'm not going to ask your permission to speak to him, especially because he has been so consistently there for me and my mom, and I'm assuming your dad, but our family in going through this.
Yeah.
And then she'll take that as an attack. She'll make it about her, but you can say that and be like, that being said, I do still want to be close with you. And say to her, I miss you, but I can't be told who I can and can't reach out to, especially when it is my family.
Right.
And then say to her, be like, you said some really horrible things to me and then just called me and asked me to babysit, which leads me to believe you didn't mean those things, but I can't just sweep that under the rug. So can I get the lay of the land, what's going on? You're going to have to put all that out there because she might be like, oh my God, I am so sorry. It has been so crazy. Like give her the chance. But if she's like, no, you're crazy, I don't really care. It's tough to judge how another person deals with a tragedy of someone close to them. Because what your mom's going through is so unfair and horrific and awful. And your feelings matter the most because you're the daughter. That's just the way it is. But you don't know. It might just be too much for your aunt. Like that might just be the way that she deals with it.
Right.
So come from a place of, I do miss you. And I just don't like, however, I can't. It's not about like, I won't be told who I can and can talk to. But be like, we want all the support we can get. And our Uncle Tim has been there. He's so kind. And I wish you would be there too, but if you're unable to, I just want you to know that I do miss you. And I don't want you to think that I don't love you and, just come from a sweet place. And if she's still a giant bee, then you got your answer.
Yeah.
Her response to your openness and vulnerability, like that will be her showing you who she truly is.
Right.
And the good answer is you'll have your answer. You'll either continue a relationship with your uncle and one with your aunt, or just the uncle, and you'll just always know that your aunt is the giant bee. You kind of always knew she was, but it was kind of always okay.
Right, when he was balancing her out. Yeah, and she's not getting the benefit of that balance anymore.
What weirds me out is that she called. I didn't have a problem asking you for a favor.
It's gross.
Which leads me to believe she isn't, it's not about, you'll talk to him when I say, I think she was just like spiraling.
Yeah.
Kick it. And now we have a baby sitting in our lap. So maybe she'll make some sounds. Can you say, my goodness? That? You can't have that. Go on.
Okay, so we have another follow-up. And this follow-up has more to do with your overall advice.
My goodness.
Okay, so the follow-up is do you remember someone wrote in because their sister was broken up with by a guy who was horrible, who said he didn't like her 6-year-old daughter.
Yes. Oh, the one that had no self-worth. Yes.
Yeah.
Red hot update.
Follow-up, because Iliza is scarily intuitive. First of all, thank you for the advice on my sister. Since then, I compiled a very long list of all the toxic things he's done and ruined for my sister and sent it to her in hopes she'll glance at it whenever she's feeling at a loss. She admitted she definitely lets her partner decide her self-worth, and it will be a long journey to get out of that habit. Anyway.
Oh, okay. That's
The
good.
main reason I'm writing back is because every time I have written in, Eliza adds a tidbit of information that may seem random, but is extremely accurate in my situation. Examples. When I wrote in about my stepmom having a creepy friend obsessed with my little brother, my stepmom unfriended her finally, Eliza made a joke about the creepy lady buying them matching onesies, and then she did. This most recent email, Eliza says the situation reminds her of mothers staying with boyfriends that sexually abuse their children. And my mom did do that to me for years, even after I told her what was going on, which makes it even sadder. My sister is showing the same kind of behavior.
You
Then,
learned it from your mother.
well, Eliza jokingly says I should help my sister paint her house, which is wild because my sister needs to repaint their apartment walls before the lease is up, and I offered to help before that episode even came out. There are more examples from over the years that I remember being like, whoa, is Eliza psychic or something? But you get the point. This could all be a coincidence, but I just want Eliza to know it's almost spooky how relatable the random details she adds in are.
Tell you what, if I were more of a narcissist, I would like build a brand off that. Like Intuit Eliza, I'm intuiting all these things. Send me a Patreon and I'll tell you your future. Positive thoughts, manifest your good nature. That's cool. Well, that's cool. It's not, I mean, there's intuition, but it's also just aggregated data. Like it's just me compiling and filtering out things that I know from things that I've heard.
Right.
It's just me being a really bad listener, but a really good observer. Well, thanks. Well, I hope your sister is going to do okay. And it's good. It's good that you did that for her. I'm glad. I'm glad we helped. We helped.
Hi, AIA crew. Love everything you guys do. I am 27 male and have been on 5 great dates with a woman, 28 female. We've gone to wine bars. I've cooked her dinner and had dinner at her place twice. All the dates were great, and we had really deep, intimate conversations where we both shared a lot of our past experiences and found we have similar priorities in life. We
have the same parents.
We would text most days, albeit not a ton because we're both busy professionals. All of a sudden, she just didn't respond one day. Not a huge deal. I followed up a few days later asking if a big exam she had went well. Still no response. It's been 10 days since she last responded. The last thing I want to be is the guy who continually texts a woman who isn't responding. What should I do? I really want to reach out, but the last thing I want to be is that guy. Any advice is appreciated. Thanks.
You know, I really appreciate that this is coming from a guy, not a girl. Because you tend to not hear about it the other way. I'm sure it does happen the other way. The only reason you're entitled, first of all, did you guys have sex?
I don't know.
Did you have sex right before she stopped speaking to you? Let's say you didn't. Let's say you haven't. You just gone on these dates. The only reason I think you're entitled to an answer is because you've gone on several dates. This is not like you went on one date. Yeah,
Been
5.
to her house twice.
Yeah, like intimate dates where you talk. You may have revealed something to her that she found unattractive. I don't know the content of your conversations. You may have texted her one too many times and not realized it. You did something that gave her the ick, or she's dead. So you might want to Google that. Or she met someone else and now she's just like, I don't even know what to say to this person. And I hear you don't want to be that guy. And it's unfortunate that we live in a society where anything beyond like, it's cool that we never spoke again makes you look psycho.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to send a text or call. The problem with call is that if she declines it, you've got nothing to say. Just send a text and be like, hey, I totally can take the hint. I just would be remiss if I didn't reach out to say that it all felt a little sudden. If I said something to offend you, or it kind of doesn't matter at this point, but I just, to be honest and vulnerable, was just looking for some closure. But then again, the question, I was going to say, the question is like, does it matter? Like, if this is the kind of person that does that, you want to know. If she says to you, like, yeah, you said this thing about your sister that creeped me out. Like, do you really want to hear that? Or she's not going to tell you if you're bad in bed. She's not going to have the guts, and I don't blame her, to say, like, you did something creepy or you texted me too much. And so, can we see those texts? That's what I need to know.
I would assume if I was you, I'd just be like, oh, this person must have had a horrible tragedy, and this is totally a one-off, and they'll get back to me. But maybe that's not the right thing, where you're like, you don't want them to forget that they're going through something. But I wonder if it's just saying like, hey, you haven't responded in a bit. I don't want to blow up your phone. You know, I won't text you again. But if you still want to get together.
No, do not say that. Emily, you're wrong.
No.
Because she doesn't want to get together. And that's not what you're looking for. You're like, hey, are you dead? Or like, did I do something?
Right.
It's tough because no matter what you write, you'll never know what she thinks of you. That's the other thing. Do you have anyone in common? Like, who cares? You may as well just say, hey, and use her name.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Ramona, I do not want to blow up your phone. I don't want to be a creep guy. I think you know me at this point. You know that's not me. It's something to the effect of like, we went out a few times, and so it just feels a little cold to just stop talking. I totally get if you don't want to see me anymore. But it's kind of like, if there's something I did to offend you or hurt you, I'm truly sorry. Obviously it's over, but I guess I was just a guy looking for some closure or just something like that. I don't think you're in the wrong. I think that's an incredibly shitty thing to do to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's like, it's tough because you already wrote back with no response. You could even just leave her a voicemail.
Yeah.
That way it's like out and like because I feel like sometimes over text, like things can get charged and misinterpreted.
Yeah, but would you listen to the
leave?
voice? If I got a voicemail from someone
100%.
I was ghosting, I wouldn't listen. I'd be nervous.
Anyways, I'd like to know the content of those texts, and I'd like to know the content of your conversation. So if you want to get back to us before we pull the trigger, let me know. She will come crawling back in a couple months and be like, hey, that was not cool. I just met this magic man. Try to understand.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Everybody sleeps, but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow, and the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you, not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose, except those sleepless nights. Get up to 50% off selected items during our Black Friday Cyber Monday sale when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.
Hi, Iliza and crew. I've been a fan of you, your comedy, and the pod for what feels like forever. Fun fact, your podcast is literally the only one I listen to. Ooh.
Yes, that is what we like because there's too many podcasts, there's too many shitty podcasts, and not enough are hot fire content.
I finally have a question. I don't travel often, but when I do, I wind up checking a bag and carting whole bottles of things like shampoo, face cream, etc., and it gets tedious.
What?
Like you.
Yeah, you don't have to say you don't travel often. We can tell.
Like you, I have hair that I hate unless I straighten it. For me, this means blow drying and flat ironing, plus a shitload of different products that will probably give me cancer, but whatever. Anyway, I love and admire your commitment to making the earth a less plastic-filled garbage dump full of useless trash situation. My question, you obviously travel often, understatement of the year, I know. Would you be able to recommend a brand or specific bottle/containers you use to contain your toiletries, i.e. lotions, creams, shampoo, conditioner, etc., that's sturdy, well-made, and environmentally friendly, or at least friendly-ish? I've been mining the internet for a while. All I seem to come up with is cheap, poorly made crap that will need to be tossed out way before this type of product should. I want something that will stand the test of time. And if it's cute, that's just a bonus. I also realize you may not even need to pack this type of stuff and that your brands may be too expensive for me. I'm a teacher, by the way. Thanks for your never-ending support for the work we do and the bullshit we put up with in this day and age. But I figure it never hurts to ask. Thank you for all that you do and the hilarity you tirelessly put out in this world. Julie.
Thanks, Julie. I have a lot of suggestions. First of all, don't ever pack a full-size anything unless you're moving somewhere. It makes you look like an amateur. Couple things. One, you can swap out your liquids for a bar. I use conditioning bars and shampoo bars, and they make all different kinds depending on what kind of hair. They even have purple ones if you have blonde colored hair. Ethique is a company that makes them, as well as Kitsch. They make them. And if you really want to know what this celebrity uses when I travel, the answer is old bottles from other products. I went to CVS. I years ago bought one travel thing of Cetaphil, and I keep that one in my bag, and I use Cetaphil at home or CeraVe, and I just constantly refill it. I have like a little ritual before I travel. It's like a day that like an hour that like I spend refilling all my things. You would be surprised how many small bottles, small containers, small jars come into your life that you just throw out. You don't think about it. How many products already come in those small bottles, and you can reuse almost all of them. You also don't need that much shampoo and conditioner, and I bring it. But if the hotel has like a big pump, so it's not a small bottle, I usually just use a little bit of that. Everybody should use like a special kind of shampoo, but usually I'm not precious about it. Lush, you know, the company, it's like the British company, and they have like all of like the organic natural soaps and stuff like that. Some of their things come in metal, so you can reuse your soap in those metal containers. I use, sometimes you get free products when you shop at Sephora, like for your birthday. I keep almost all of those products, and I rinse it out when I'm done, and I reuse it. So that is the answer. I reuse the container that the product I love came in. Mm-hmm. You can save dropper bottles. You can save, and if you don't have any of that, just go to the store and get a travel size, and then just always reuse it and refill it with the product you use at home. Keep it in a little bag separate. But that is my answer. That's my answer.
There you go.
Yeah. And I know this doesn't matter, it's a drop in the bucket, but if I use a bar of soap in a hotel, I will wrap it in toilet paper and I will take it with me to the next destination. The good thing about toilet paper is it sticks onto the soap, but then it comes right off with water. It just disintegrates. There's also a company that makes disintegrating, like a sheet of soap, and the packaging disintegrates in water. So that's the answer, is just constantly refilling little packages.
Yeah. Being organized.
Keep an eye out. Go look through your cabinet right now. I bet you got a ton of them. Yeah.
Hi, Iliza. Queen cat mother, Emily. Hot Scotty number 1. Cute tiny party horn. And all the AIA children, human and fur. I have a weird situation. I, 29, female, not nurse grad, but from Texas. All caps. Moved to another country right as my parents announced they were getting divorced 4 years ago now. My mom has always been closer to me and has come to visit me in my new home country, as well as my younger brother. My dad, on the other hand, has always been more distant. Basically, my parents married super young, and my dad took the helm of breadwinner, and my mom was everything else. He says he always felt on the outside while my mom, brother, and I were the main family unit. I say he says because this is what he has told me, but from my memory, my mom always tried to include him in everything we did, but his work schedule was always all over the place. Now, without my mom as the glue, he has become even more distant and barely calls or texts me, and we don't really have much of a relationship. I've been trying to talk to him more to build up our relationship, but it's not always fun because he only ever talks about himself during our conversations and rarely asks about me, and it gets exhausting. Oof. Here's my issue. I know that he wants a relationship with me because he does randomly message me to say hello or I love you. Never much deeper than that, but he likes to send these messages when he's drunk. I know because our time zones are very different, and I should not be receiving a text so late in the day from someone back home. He has also called me one time while at the bar to try and introduce me to his new girlfriend. I said, no, we should wait for another time to allow me to process the information of him being in a new relationship. I still haven't, quote, met her and really don't want to yet.
Because she doesn't exist anymore.
He doesn't do it all the time, but enough to where I know that he's drunk when I receive the message without even reading it. Happens a lot on a Saturday afternoon when it's Friday night where he is. What should I do? I still respect and love him and want to keep trying to build this relationship, but also I don't want my dad drunk texting me. It's weird. How do I tell him to call or text me when he wants to actually communicate with me and not cop out by just saying a drunken hello? Thank you for your words of wisdom. I saw you when you came to the House of Blues in Houston in 2017 and again this year at the Hamer Hall in Melbourne. Both amazing shows, and everything you say on the pod is basically gospel to me. Thank you so much for choosing my question, Emily. Loved the whole AIA fam. A confused and weirded out daughter.
Yeah, I hear you. I totally hear you. Oh, I totally hear you.
It's tough.
When he's sober, when you know he'll be sober, hopefully at like 3:00 on a Wednesday, call him. Hey, I'm just calling to check in. Some men are, it's not even so much narcissistic as much as like he doesn't know how to communicate with you. And you don't want to like force your life down his throat. Like, let me tell you a bit about me, Dad, you know? It sounds like he's nervous, and it sounds like you guys don't have much of a relationship because you never did. And the feeling that he's feeling, like the isolation, like that's valid. Like, even though you remembered a certain way, he may have always felt another way, and it could have been circumstantial through he had to work. So it was you and your mom and your brother. Only good can come from you saying to him, I feel like we have an opportunity to build a fresh relationship. And I want to get to know you as an adult, as my dad. And you call sometimes and you talk a lot about yourself, but I feel like you kind of don't really ask me about me. And he'll say, you can tell me whatever you want about yourself. And be like, okay, I will. But something I need you to know is that I don't like it when you call me drunk. It just makes me feel not special. And it makes me feel like you need this like liquid courage, but you can always call me because you're my dad and I love you. And I'd like to build a relationship with you. Maybe you'll come out here to Australia, or maybe I can see you when I go home. It's quite the schlep, or maybe we can meet in the middle in like Vanuatu or something. But I think you just need to say those things to him because he's probably wrestling with a lot of that and feeling isolated. And like, this is the way he reaches out when he gets some liquid courage. Be like, you don't need to be buzzed. And he'll be like, I'm not drunk. And be like, I can tell when you've had a few drinks, and I'm not saying you have a problem, but I'm just saying like, it doesn't make me feel good to interact with you like that.
Yeah.
But I would like to talk to you. And I do think these things take practice. And I do think speaking more regularly, maybe having like a Zoom date every Sunday at noon or something.
Yeah, he needs guidance a little bit on how to be a dad, because it's interesting you say, that he says he felt like he was on the outside, and you say your mom really tried to include him, but he was working. His work schedule is weird. Yeah, he had to work to support the family, and because of that, he had to miss out on picnics and fun stuff,
And he might resent her for that, and she might resent him for working. And the truth is, as the kids, you'll never get the full truth / picture about what went on in your parents' marriage. You shouldn't. They'll each have their side, but it almost doesn't matter because what is clear is that he does try, even if it's in his own way. And he's not abusive and he's not mean. You guys just have a lot of time to make up.
Yeah.
So just say all that from like the best place. Like, I do want a relationship, so let's make our own thing.
Yeah.
Say to him, like, you felt left out. Well, here I am. Let's have our own thing.
Right.
And I think if he rejects that, then you're just dealing with a piece of shit. But I think he would like that.
Right.
And it may be small, and it may just be talking for 30 minutes every week. Or it might be texting each other pictures or just finding something you have in common.
Yeah, watch a TV show at the same time.
Yeah. On the phone together in different time zones.
I know that's a tough sell. I was going to say you could do Zoom drinks, but it's Friday night for him and Saturday afternoon for you. It's not the best timing, but. Hi, Pod Squad. I need some advice on how to phase out a coworker from a friendship. I, 30 female, work in a very male-dominated field, so most of my friends end up being guys by default. I accidentally made friends with a coworker, 30 male. Initially, he was struggling with some professional and career path choices, and I offered him some advice, which apparently meant we were friends. Being the people pleaser that I am, I just kept being myself and being nice. He's a very open book type of person and very dramatic about everything in his life, including our job and him thinking he's more important than he is, which gets old quickly. Usually, I just let it go in one ear and out the other. Recently, he disclosed to me that he and his wife are thinking about trying for a baby, but he's afraid to become a dad, and they have some concerns about trying due to potential underlying conditions she may have. After talking with my husband and making sure he was okay with it, I disclosed to him that we've actually been trying for 2 years and have been going through treatments, 4 rounds of medicine, 4 failed IUIs, and we are about to start IVF. My intent was to let them know that there are options out there if they have struggles, and I gave them our doctor as a referral if they wanted to have a conversation and understand their options. Fast forward to today, and he's being extremely over the top, and I've about had it. He's talking as I'm typing this. He has told everyone in our office that he and his wife are going through some health concerns and that it's something she will be combating for the rest of her life. Has compared it to finding out you have cancer and basically is trying to garner sympathy from coworkers and fishing. Anytime someone is like, oh, what's wrong? He's like, I can't really disclose, but it's not good. They haven't even started trying yet, and they haven't been to a single doctor. They are currently self-diagnosing using Google, and that was openly said they did their research. I'm wondering how to get this accidental friendship back to just coworkers. I don't want to go over to your house. I don't want to text your wife. He randomly gave my number to her. Please stop bringing me pie. I don't want to talk to you about my struggles, and I don't want to hear about yours. Make a comment about the weather and just get back to work. Sorry, this is so long. It's been going on for a while now, and I've about had it. Thanks a lot, Anonymous.
Part of me wants to shake you because you knew this person was annoying and you couldn't help yourself and you let them in anyway. But even as I admonish you, I'm still like, that's something I would have done.
And it was nice. It was nice of you.
My ear would perk up like, oh, a way I can be involved and maybe save this? Oh, let me come help you. Even though I don't like you. I do this all the time. Someone I don't like, but I'm like, let me give you some life-changing advice. You opened some sort of door and he just walked in. You can simply say to him, because he'll be like, yeah, okay. He doesn't know what's wrong. And that's really fucked up and that's weird. You can simply say to him and be like, hey, I have to be honest. Going through what we went through, I kind of just don't want like hearing about it. Because you don't have to say triggering or anything, but be like, it was really hard. And you talk about this and you bring this up, but you guys don't know what you're dealing with. And as someone, you can even be like, as your friend who has gone through this, it's just, I kind of remove myself from these conversations. I hope you can appreciate that. Like, I gave you the advice and the help that I wish someone had given me, but I don't, beyond that, my hands are clean. That's it. And then just never say you can go to their house, just sort of push away everything, deflect.
Well, and they're going to, this guy isn't just coming to you. This guy is using this to try to get literally anyone else in the office to take the bait. Some idiot will take the bait soon and involve themselves, and then they'll be the focus.
I don't understand what he's saying. They haven't even decided to try yet. And
They've decided to try, but they haven't been any doctors and they haven't actually it's not like they've been trying and are taking pregnancy tests and they're negative. They're just like, we want to try to have a baby and we think all these bad things are going to happen is what it sounds like.
You can just say to him, be like, it's just, I wanted to help you because you guys were going on this journey, but I've actually been through it. And until you've gone through this, it's just not a conversation that I want to be part of.
Right. Yeah, I gave you the doctor's number. There's nothing else I can do here.
And just giving it less and less when he brings it up, be like, yeah, that's crazy. And you can just keep saying, be like, you probably need a real doctor's opinion.
Yeah.
That's annoying. That's sad though, because you were trying to do something good and now and this guy is just being so weird about it. He just wants the attention.
He's latched onto this thing as this way to get attention. He's like, oh,
so
something's
weird.
happening to me.
That's such an uncommon behavior with men, around pregnancy, but maybe he shouldn't have a kid. This guy seems really annoying. Oh boy. All right. Kick it.
Hello, Pod Squad, including Pod P, Sweet Pea, Sierra May. This may fall under above your pay grade and is a bit long, but I could really use some advice on how to move past a traumatic event. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was at the neighborhood pool with my 8 and 9-year-old and witnessed a 3-year-old girl almost drown. There were about 3 to 4 other groups of people there, so the pool was not packed. This little girl was there with her 3 older male cousins, about 10 to 14 years old. They were not paying any attention to her, and the little girl was mostly just hanging out with another family's little kids. I had stepped out of the pool to take a phone call and noticed the little girl unmoving, face down in the water. I jumped in and shook her, and when she didn't move, I flipped her over to find that she was clearly not breathing.
Sorry, folks. Emily's cat
walked in front of my mouth.
Do you know what a dead cat is?
No. What?
It's the fuzzy thing you put over a microphone to
oh, yeah.
dull the sound.
He was being
You got a live cat. It was right in his belly. All right, go on.
I pulled her out of the pool and yelled for help. Thankfully, there was a nurse there who was able to give her CPR until the paramedics arrived. She and a nursing student who also happened to be there did chest compressions for 8 minutes before the paramedics arrived. She finally began breathing on her own, maybe 15 minutes after she was out of the water, but the medics took her to the hospital to make sure her oxygen levels were okay. I truly don't think that girl would have made it if those hero nurses were not there or I didn't notice her when I did. It has been a couple weeks, but I can't stop thinking about this event. I've been getting really existential, thinking things like, what if I or the nurses had gone to the bathroom at that time? Or what if I hadn't stepped out to take the phone call, etc.? I get really stressed whenever at the pool now, too. I would like to stop picturing her little face and find peace in the knowledge that she's most likely okay. Please help.
Is it a public pool? What pool was this?
Yeah, it was a public pool.
First of all, where's the lifeguard?
Yeah.
Can you, as the taxpayers of that area. Like, I don't know if it's a public pool or if it's one of those like neighborhood pools. Where was the lifeguard?
It's a neighborhood pool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys all pay to belong to that pool. Where was the lifeguard? Maybe this is your purpose is to petition to make sure there's always a lifeguard on duty. Unfortunately, do you have kids? Does this woman have kids?
Doesn't say.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, kids are mistreated 24 hours a day all over the world. You just happen to see it in person in that moment. But horrible things like this are happening to everyone, animals, people, adults, at all times, everywhere. And so we're lucky that we don't live in situations where we have to see this, where you have to see people blown to bits or murdered on your doorstep or your village. People, those are the realities for a lot of people. And I'm not saying like you're soft or anything. I'm just saying every time I feel bad about something, when I hear about an animal that died, I'm like, but I ate a burger yesterday. It's hard. It's hard to see those things when you're not used to it. And the truth is, it's a futile exercise. Like, what if those nurses weren't there? Because they were. You were there. You were there for a reason. And that was to save her. What if you got hit by a bus on the way to the pool that day? But none of those things happened because they weren't supposed to happen. And you were there. And you did a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's really all you can take away from it. It's awful. You almost saw a child die and you saved her life. And that will impact you in a positive and a negative way. Cut yourself a break. Definitely talk to someone. But it should shake you. It's like seeing a dead body or like a dead animal for a second or seeing someone get abused. Like, it's tough to see violent things in front of you.
Right.
This is why people have PTSD. Like, this is not normal to see. And there are people who see this stuff all day, every day, and people are fucked up because of it. And you're angry at those dumb boys for not paying attention to this little girl. And you're angry at the parents for trusting these idiot boys with this precious little girl. And all you can do is either know that you would never let your kid in that situation, or if you ever do have a kid, you would, you file that away. All we can do is learn from the things around us. And the truth is, it doesn't matter because you were there.
Yeah.
That's all that happened. That's all that we know. That's all that matters. But yeah, I don't blame you for being shaken. Or as they say, shook. I'm shooketh.
Top of the cob.
Yeah.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
I talked about the fact that I went to the Aspen Ideas Festival a couple weeks ago, and I still have some top of the cobs from that because I got to sit in on lectures and talks in fields that I have nothing to do with, like health equity, healthcare, stuff like that. But right before my Q&A, I was introduced to a man in uniform, and his handler / assistant was like, "This is the Surgeon General." And his name is Vivek Murthy. And he was like, "This is the Surgeon General." I'm like, "You're the guy from the side of the cigarettes."
Yeah.
But like, when do you get to meet the Surgeon General? And he was so cool
for him to autograph.
Yeah, right? Be like, "I've never had a cigarette, but just remind me just in case." Anyways, it was just cool. And then that was my top of the cob. And also this woman came up to me before my talk and she was like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm meeting you. I got to get a picture with you. I just think you're so great." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I looked at her name tag. I'm not going to blow up her name or blow up her spot. And I saw her company. I was like, "Blue Origin, what's that?" And she's like, "Oh, I am the chief like aeronautical scientist for Jeff Bezos's space program."
You're like, "Oh."
I'm like, "That's you?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's me." And I'm like, "And you're excited to meet me?" Like, I can't do math in my head. So I guess it's just cool because comedy takes you to places and helps you meet people that you never would have met. And I never would have had access to any of these people or known that they were fans. And it was just very cool for me to meet people who are well above me in so many ways. And they were like, "We think you're funny." And I was just like, "That's cool. I'm not going to space. I think it's a death mission."
Our fan top of the cob, Iliza and Emily, I believe this will resonate with a big chunk of your key demographic. My top of the cob is pulling out of the parking lot on the last day of school. These past few years have been very difficult for teachers, so the feeling of knowing I have a few months to relax and unwind before it starts again is unmatched.
Oof, that's a good one. I haven't felt that in years. I haven't been in school in years, but that's, like, see you losers
like
later.
It's summer. It's summer
I'll be-
getaway.
I'll be back to decorate on my own dime in August.
My
Okay, what's
top
yours?
is that, I bought my cats a toddler recliner. So
Yeah, of course.
I decided I needed a little throw for it, and I didn't like what was available online. So I picked up knitting again after 18 years since I last knit, and I just picked it right back up. I watched a YouTube video, and I was like, I've got this. I've almost
Wow.
finished my blanket, and I was like, oh, it's just like riding a bike. This is nice. This is a nice skill to have, I guess, if something goes awry.
Never pegged you for a knitter, but I guess you do fit the bill.
See, here's the thing. Well, I learned it because I went to a Montessori school and we learned it there.
Talked about often. Yes.
Yes, but I realized why do people
Up through
associate
grad school.
knitting? Why did people associate knitting with cats? Because my cats want to chew the needles and the yarn, so it's very bad combination.
Yeah, I think it has less to do with the actuality of it and more to do with the matronly, cozy grandma, quiet
vibe.
tea sipping aspect. Yeah. The coziness. Yeah.
Okay, my bottom of the cob is I tried to get a Grimace shake, and I did wind up getting one, but I tried to get one. I wanted one. I said, can I have a Grimace meal? And they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, sorry, the Nuggets Grimace meal. And I'm like, what meal? And I'm like, the Grimace. I have to keep saying the word Grimace. They're like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I get my meal. I drive away. And it was just a regular vanilla shake. It wasn't the Grimace shake. And I'm not going to drive back to McDonald's and be like, you give me the wrong shake now. So then a week later, I went back and just got a Grimace shake because I needed to know. But just so demeaning as an adult to be like,
Yes.
hey, I want the Grimace meal, please, with the Grimace shake. Thank you.
Was it vanilla? It just dyed purple?
No. It's if you get the actual Grimace shake and they don't fuck up and give you a vanilla shake, it's like supposedly mixed berry. It just tastes like Trix or like a fruity cereal, like a very faint essence of a mixed berry flavor.
I love that you never curse, and this is what it's reserved for. That was, please make that the soundbite for the advertisement for the show. That was so special to me. That was like a pop of Christmas.
It's just,
I don't fuck up and give you the wrong Grimace shake. I'm going to come in there and start kicking in teeth. All right. What's the fan?
the fan bottom just says lactose intolerance. And the way I always think this time will be different. So this person can't have a Grimace shake.
Yep. I feel that way sometimes with alcohol where I'm like, it'll be fine. I can totally, it's just like in my 30s, I'll be fine. And then I'm like, I feel weird. I got to go home.
I feel like people with lactose intolerance all the time consume dairy and are just like, oh, well.
I think it depends. And it also depends on your like ancestry. Like 1 in 3 African Americans are lactose intolerant. And if you consider where your people come from, and I'm not saying this is always, but if you consider where your people come from and if historically they have consumed milk, particularly cow's milk, like I wonder if a lot of Asian people are lactose intolerant. I promise you people who are like Northern European are not lactose intolerant. And something I always take umbrage with is like when my friends who are Jewish make shitty Jewish jokes thinking that like it's okay because we're all together. They're like, oh, I can't have any milk because I'm a Jew. And I'm like, we're from Eastern Europe. Like we drink cow's milk. You can't have milk because you're fucking annoying. Don't blame being a Jew. Like you've just got bad gut.
Yeah.
Anyways, that always bothers me. Like consider where you're from and then go from there. If you want to have an idea about if you might be lactose intolerant, but that's not always the answer because some people are so mixed that it doesn't matter. My bottom of the cob is, and this will have happened by now, but every morning, I didn't realize this. Sometimes you don't realize something's a habit until it goes away. But every morning for my adult life, I have logged on to check a website called Delisted, which is like a celebrity gossip website. It's more of like a pop culture. It's more of a pop culture gossipy kind of catty website. But there's a lot of them out there, like Angry Stepfather, Stepdad, and like Jezebel and Just Jared. There's a ton of them. I must have started reading Delisted like in my 20s or something, or I don't know how long they've been around, but for a very long time. And it just became something that my fingers would type naturally without even realizing it. Every morning I'll check Delisted because I don't watch celebrity news and I don't follow celebrities online and I try to keep it out of my life because it's largely junk. And yes, they cover Real Housewives and I could not care less. And But the guy who runs it is named Michael K. And I always thought it was a very funny website. I can't say that I always read every article, but I always felt like he gave things a fair shake. And I always thought he was kind of spot on when he did or didn't like someone. And he had like a very specific comedic point of view. And he never like pulled any punches, and he never was just mean for the sake of it, while still being like kind of bitchy. And he would always do these like everyday birthday sluts. And if it's your birthday, you got your name on there. And one time I wrote to him and I asked if I could be one. And every year since, I've been included on the list. And they just posted, they were like, we're going to be closing our doors after whatever, 10 years, 18 years. And I wrote him a little email just to say, thanks for having a comedic point of view, and I'll miss you. And you guys were a constant in my life that I didn't realize until you said you were leaving. So goodbye, delisted. Thank you for introducing me to celebrities that I don't care about and never would have known about, like Phoebe Price. And thanks for opening my eyes to Spanish words like nalgas. So I think it means like balls. Goodbye, delisted. Yeah. Well, folks, happy 4th of July week. I hope you celebrated it, and I hope you got to keep both of your eyes. It's what our forefathers would have wanted. And Emily, remember, for the land of the free and the home of the
Grimace.
fuck up my order!